I think sometimes you focus on the wrong things when scaling. Like you don't want to scale too fast without having the right infrastructure to handle that scale. So if you just focus on scaling without focusing on having a strong infrastructure, you will end up crashing eventually. So you need to scale fast, but you also need to scale sustainably. You need to scale in a way that doesn't mean you're gonna crash after you hit a certain limit, right? So sometimes going a bit slower is actually going faster on the long run, if that makes any sense.
They say it's lonely at the top. They're right. But you don't have to scale your company alone. Welcome to the Scaling CEO. I'm Glenn Gao, the CEO Success Coach. On this podcast, I sit down with top performing CEOs to uncover the hidden patterns and frameworks behind their success so you can avoid common pitfalls and accelerate your company's growth. Now, on to the show. My guest today is Christophe Zoghbi. Christophe is the founder and CEO of ZAKA, an AI-focused consulting and training firm. But his job isn't just tech. His job is a mission to democratize artificial intelligence, making its immense potential accessible to everyone, from budding startups to established enterprises across the MENA region and beyond, Middle East and North Africa. He's not just a CEO. He's a dedicated educator, holding a position as a visiting lecturer. He's a prolific community builder, having founded Beirut AI, the largest applied AI community in Lebanon. And he's a mentor, consultant, and partner in multiple other tech ventures. Frankly, I'm not sure how one person does all of this, which is exactly why he's the perfect guest to talk about the challenges of scaling. Christophe, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Glenn, for this amazing introduction. And yeah, so happy to be here.
So I read your profile and you're doing a lot. My first question is, are you secretly an advanced AI or have you just cloned yourself? No, but seriously, how do you scale yourself across so many high level commitments?
First of all, I wish cloning technology was this advanced because I would be doing a lot more. But I mean, the secret to scaling is doing something you love means you end up working a lot, and there's no secret to scaling. It's just a lot of hard work and a lot of passion, and maybe having the right team with you. So everything that I'm doing, I'm not doing it alone. There's a whole team around me that actually helps me accomplish these things. So we can go into the what makes up a good team and then how to actually build that team. But having the right team with you makes you do a lot of things, and of course a lot of hard work. I want to really mention how hard it is and how overworked I am.
I appreciate that. And that's true of many CEOs. Well, maybe you've touched on something here to answer this question already, but from your vantage point, what's the single biggest blind spot CEOs have when they first try to scale? What is the complex truth that they consistently misunderstand?
I think sometimes you focus on the wrong things when scaling, and so you end up like you don't want to scale too fast without having the right infrastructure to handle that scale.
Hmm.
So if you just focus on scaling without focusing on having a strong infrastructure, you will end up crashing eventually. So you need to scale fast, but you also need to scale sustainably. You need to scale in a way that doesn't mean you're gonna crash after you hit a certain limit, right? So sometimes going a bit slower is actually going faster on the long run, if that makes any sense.
It makes sense. It's a theme that I keep hearing from my CEOs having to do with we feel like we're building the second floor of the house, but we haven't finished the first floor yet. We haven't really built up the infrastructure to enable this growth. So I appreciate you talking about building. It's more about doing the right things to sustain growth, right? Isn't that what you're saying?
Absolutely, doing the right things and doing things the right way as well, not just speeding through things. And for me, this is kind of another topic maybe, but usually in startups, there's a lot of you raise funds, you burn through cash, you scale, and the focus is a lot on scaling. Uh, I, I personally, I'm not a big fan of just raising money. We are a fully bootstrapped company. So for us, we have been growing and scaling at a steady pace, right? Because when you do it organically or in a bootstrapped way, you cannot scale as fast as someone who has raised funds. So this has really taught me to think long term, right? Not just I have this amount of money, I need to burn through it to just grow, to kind of reach some fake KPIs, to kind of raise more money, to even grow more. It has actually helped me focus on what actually makes sense. Growing something sustainable that doesn't require, raising money every now and then. That doesn't mean that, we're kind of following the right metrics or KPIs to grow. Uh, so it's a different experience. But when you look at it, over a period of 6-7 years, you see that there's a lot of growth that has happened, but definitely slower than someone who has grown a lot and then the startup crashed after a couple of years and they disappeared. So it's a different view of reality, if
Right.
that makes sense.
And to jump onto a theme you picked up earlier, and I think it fits into this infrastructure and smart growth topic, is you used the proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So talk to us about scaling ZAKA, and what does that mean about going together and building the right team or community that you wish you'd known from day one? What would have saved you the most time if you had really applied this proverb?
I mean, I love this proverb, and for me, I'm a big believer in communities. In fact, I even have a tattoo that's the logo of Ubuntu, which is, I don't know if you know Ubuntu, the operating system, but it's actually, Ubuntu is also an African proverb. It's a philosophy that says literally, I am because we are, and it's all about community. And so for
Wow.
me, I really believe that you can only go so far by yourself. You can maybe go fast, but eventually, that's how far you can go. Versus if you have a team, if you have a community, if you go together, you make it sustainable. You make sure that you reach the long term, goal of where you want to reach. And for me, it's very important because before founding ZAKA, I founded Beirut AI, and Beirut AI was just a community effort for me to promote AI in my home country, Lebanon. Um, and I never thought I'd be making any money from this. For me, it was just a passion that I had to
Mm,
promote AI, to organize events, to bring people together, to share knowledge and insights around artificial intelligence. But then I realized that this mission is bigger than just few events here and then. I actually wanted to see proper adoption, and decided to make it like a for-profit company, but with the community focus at heart. So we've always kept this focus on the community because it really, for me, it started the whole thing. It's like the inception of ZAKA started in a community. So I never wanted to lose that feeling. And there's a lot of benefits to having a community, in the sense where people learn faster. You have incentive to give back. It doesn't mean if you're learning something and growing that at the expense of someone else, right? People feel like if they share information they lose something, and that's why it's this culture of not sharing or not collaborating, which I never agreed with. I'm always with the idea of collaboration and working together and sharing knowledge, because if you share, you learn even more. This has started with me at Beirut AI, and it has carried on at ZAKA as well, as we grow our impact and our awareness, mission in the region.
and talk to us a little bit about scaling a community, because I know very, very few times that has happened quickly. And so, with your mindset of building infrastructure, with your mindset of being part of a team that shares information, I know every CEO that I talk to that is interested in building a community believes it's going to take way too long, and then they tend not to invest in it. So, what is your secret to scaling a community?
Yeah, they're absolutely right. Doing it, like growing a community, is not something easy, and it's not something that has money in it, right? If it has, it's so little money. So that's why most people don't do it. Anyone who has a logical common sense in their mind, who want to build a business and make money, will look at this and say, it's not worth the investment. Why would I spend effort and money to build something that's going to take a long time and not return any investment? So the only way you would do it is either you're crazy or you love what you do. You're passionate about it, right? And I happen to be both. so so for me, like, I started doing the community work, right, which is the hard work. And again, when you do something you love, it's not hard work. It's something you enjoy doing. So lucky
Right.
for me, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing the hard work. And I also found people who also share the same excitement about doing the hard things. And so you end up, when you do it that way, again, it takes a long time, a lot of effort. There's no money in it. But at some point, you start to figure out how to, monetize it, if I can say that.
Right. Well, let's talk about ZAKA and the idea of AI for everyone, which is not just for coders. So, as you have scaled, which group has been harder to teach about AI? The skeptical, the non-technical, or even the more technical engineers? How do you look at bringing people together to enable an AI for everyone?
Yeah, so funny enough, we started before AI was cool, right? Before ChatGPT. So we
Hmm.
started doing trainings back in 2019. And the only people who were actually interested in AI were developers and engineers and technical people. Everyone else literally did not care about AI because they felt it's like science fiction or something they would never have to encounter. And then suddenly ChatGPT came to life, and everyone is now interested in learning and adopting AI. So this has really helped a lot our mission because it kind of opened up like 90% of the markets. And now everyone is interested in, again, understanding how they can benefit from AI. So now we have different programs for lawyers, for HR, for educators, for schools, for healthcare professionals, you name it, any industry, any person who, again, previously thought of AI as a technical thing now actually cares about AI because they see the value it can bring to them. So it really changed a lot of our perspective. And now I can say that most of our focus is not on technical AI, not on building AI, but rather on how you can use AI. And this is
Mm,
very important because we're living in an age where AI is becoming literally part of every day. Like you cannot go about your day without using any application or any software or any tool that's actually heavily leveraging AI. Even if you think about future jobs and careers, there's rarely any job that doesn't really involve or will be involving some form of an AI tool in it. So it's not like AI is just something that's completely separate, that's only affecting one or two industries. It's everywhere. And it's important for people to understand, because what I've seen is a lot of them are afraid, and that they're resistant to using AI because they are afraid. They're afraid of the unknown. Um, but once you start to show them that it's not actually Terminator, it's not actually something that's gonna take over your world or whatever, it's actually a tool, and it can be helpful if you use it the right way, then you can see people start to ease up, and wanting to use these tools and wanting to adopt efficiency in their life.
right.
So I've seen this a lot, right? And that's the main thing that I would say.
So I'm going to ask you a question now. I usually save it to the end, but since we're in the midst of this conversation about AI, this is relevant. When I talk to CEOs about I ask them questions about how are you using it operationally inside the company? What are your thoughts around that? How are you using it within software development if you're a software company? How are you using it within the products and services that you offer to your prospective customers? And then finally, how are you using it as a CEO? So you're in a really good position to help us address. Let's think about the audience here, other CEOs. Give us some advice on how to think about each of those issues: the operations, develop software development, inside the building it inside the product and service, and then as CEO yourself.
So if you go back to initial question you asked me of how can I work so much and accomplish so much,
Yes.
honestly, if it wasn't for ChatGPT and these LLMs, honestly, my company would not be where it is right now. It's
Yeah.
literally my best friend, my supporter, like my coworker, you name it. There's not a day goes by that I don't use ChatGPT for anything, right? So whether it's writing proposals, whether it's brainstorming, whether it's sometimes helping with simple tasks, right? It really helps offload a lot of the task. And it's like having a personal assistant that is quicker and faster and smarter than I am. So that's personally how I use it. And that's how I encourage every CEO and every person to actually use it as well. Um, there's a lot of benefits to having an assistant as powerful as these large language models. And now
Completely.
a step,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And taking a step further, like to how we use it at ZAKA, again, when we're building curriculums or like learning content, we use a lot of AI to help us accelerate the content creation process. Even internally, when we're running our cohorts, there's a lot of support that we can automate through AI chatbots. For example, we do have a WhatsApp chatbot for customer support. So anyone who goes on our website who has some questions to ask, they can just chat with our AI chatbot, and this helps quickly answer any of the questions before they can even raise a point to someone from the team, and then having them to step in.
Right.
Sometimes we have big cohorts where we teach people, like we have the 6-month program where we teach people to become market ready AI engineers. So running the coordination of these participants over a long time, they have questions, they have follow up, all of these things. We do have a Slack bot that helps automate some of the queries that they have as well.
Mm-hmm.
So these are some like small wins here and there that we can automate, that we can implement internally, and they help us a lot. Actually, they help us stay a small team, but actually take care of large groups.
I love it. I love it. So I'm going to bring us to the last topic here, and I'm going to ask you a question about scaling yourself, or what's your advice to helping CEOs scale. And we already gave part of the answer on how to leverage AI with that, but I want to look beyond AI, because CEOs often struggle with scaling themselves. As the company grows, their responsibilities need to change. The market changes. They have new sets of people to focus on and functions to spend time on. And they often don't scale themselves. They don't build the tools they need to be effective as the company scales. And that's what I help CEOs with. But I want to hear from you. What's your direct advice for a CEO who's stuck in the weeds and can't find a way to work at a higher, more strategic level?
I think CEOs should not become the bottlenecks of their company. And in a lot of places, I feel like CEOs want to stay like the final decision maker, or the final, like the bottleneck, right? So you should um, replace yourself. You should find a way to really delegate, like the concept of delegation. I know it's hard, and this is also, it was hard for me as well. But if you really want to be a good leader, you have to know how to delegate, and you have to step out of the picture, and you have to make sure that if you disappear, at least the company still somehow operates. It's not
Mm,
like everything is tied to you, right? That's how you actually scale yourself. If you remove yourself from the equation and you make sure you have processes and people, uh, and maybe tools, in this case AI, in place to operate, then if Chris is not here, it doesn't mean that the company falls apart and no one knows what to do. There's a process in place. There are people who can know what to do. So that would be my comment on that.
good. And I'm just going to add to that. I am a big, big believer in delegation. I want all my CEOs to become very, very effective delegators. And when I see hesitation, I say, okay, well, maybe the first issue is you may not have a team you're fully comfortable delegating to. And if that's the case, then that's the issue we need to go to work on first. Because in order to be an effective delegator, you have to have confidence that the team you've given the project to or the responsibility to is going to execute. So I love
Absolutely.
love the delegation point you've made. So, Christophe, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure. And how can people reach you beyond reaching out on LinkedIn?
So if they want to connect with ZAKA, they can go to the website. It's zaka.ai, zaka.ai. We have all of our content there. Also follow us on social media. We are very active on all of the platforms. We share educational videos, awareness videos, and all of our programs and news on the social media as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Glenn.
That's a wrap for today's episode of The Scaling CEO. If you found this valuable, be sure to like, subscribe, and share with a fellow CEO who could benefit. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please give us a quick rating, as it really helps more people find the show. I'm Glenn Gao, the CEO Success Coach. See you next time for more proven strategies to grow your business and leadership.